Hi. I want to talk a little bit today about why the hustle mentality that's so popular right now actually can be really harmful to your creativity and can actually kill your creativity. So, if you're interested in finding more creativity in your life and having a little bit more balance, listen up. So right now in popular culture, the hustle mentality is everything. It's all around us. Hashtags, memes, this idea that you have to work really hard. And this is an old idea coming from everything that we've learned from the past. This mentality of you've got to work really hard by doing kind of pretty much what other people have said works or what other people kind of tell you to do, and by not listening to ourselves. So some hustle can come from our passion and from our own thoughts and ideas, of course. But this idea of a hustle, for me, it implies that you have this really tunnel view of what needs to get done. You're really focused on the goal, which there are plenty of times in our life when that's a great thing, right? But for creativity, to get the most out of creativity and to get the most out of your life in general and have more flow in your life, what we really need to do is step outside the hustle mentality and get into this mentality of flow. So if you want to listen to a more in-depth conversation about this, I have a link to my creative mornings talk that I did, and I'm talking all about how to incorporate more flow into your life. But in order to get more flow and more creativity into our life, what we really need is we need to step outside the hustle mentality, this focused tunnel vision goal. And we need to step into a more open way of thinking. So this includes play, daydreaming, curiosity, following your what if questions. What if this happened? What if that happened? What could happen? So when we're focused and we're hustling, just trying to get A, B, C, D done, we don't have time to, or we feel like we don't have time to observe everything around us, right? To see all of the coincidences, all of the things that our intuition is bringing to us. Our brains actually need time. It's been scientifically proven our brains need time, space to do nothing, to play, to daydream. Our brains act as synthesizers. So we take in information all day long from all around us, and most of this information does not travel through our logical step-by-step brain, so our linear brain. Most of it we absorb, and then if we give our mind space and time and play and just following the next idea, that space, holding loosely onto an idea. For instance, I like to ask myself a question and just let it kind of ruminate in my mind, and pretty soon ideas will start coming. But your brain needs space and time to put those connections together, to synthesize things. When we're constantly focused on the next task at hand, and we're constantly pushing ourselves to do what we think should be done in the moment, we're actually blocking out these amazing ideas. If you've ever had something come to you in the shower, and that's why people talk about this, is because you're in this state where you're kind of holding loosely to an idea, and your brain is actually able to bring another more creative idea in. So we're actually doing ourselves a disservice when we're constantly in this super focused mode. And I just want to point out that, the geniuses of our world, like I like to talk about Picasso, he, in his early career, he was a realistic artist. He did realism, painted beautiful portraits. But at some point, he stepped out of that mode and did something that was calling him. His curiosity was calling him. So, can you imagine if Picasso had stayed in this hustle, right? Like, I'm going to hustle to make the realism work. I've seen all these people before me do it. I can do it. I can make money. I'm sure he would have had a great, a pretty good career, and it would have been fine. But he stopped and listened to what was calling him and his curiosity that was calling him. And he opened himself up and took time to play and explore. And probably, maybe his logical mind was like, this is waste of time, this is dumb, what am I doing? But, he stepped out of one type of hustle and into exploration and what ifs, and he changed the art world. Same with, so many people who have changed the world. Steve Jobs, Warhol, and just think about all of the people in the world who have stepped out of the goals that maybe other people have put on them and stepped into taking a chance. So I just want to ask you, where in your life can you make time to let your brain have some playtime? In the morning, I like to set aside time for writing, free writing, daydreaming. And when I drive to work, I listen to something that's inspiring to me, and I let that time be a time where my brain can just freely have fun and just go on a little rampage as much as it wants. And give yourself just small pockets. Where can you give yourself small pockets of time where you're doing nothing? You're playing, you're exploring. There doesn't have to be a purpose, So I just want to say this is one of my passions, and I want to give people time for this in their life. So I have workshops where people can come and take time, not to learn how to do this process, step A, B, C, and D, although I do always incorporate processes into things, but to have a time where it's an exploratory time. You can let your creativity flow and let your creativity lead you to the next logical thing. So I have workshops, and I'm going to be telling you about ones that are coming up soon. And so stay tuned to my channel, and I can't wait to be able to share more of these videos with you and more of my workshops with you. Thanks for listening.